Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to do a first impression and wear test of the new LYS Beauty. So this is now available at Sephora. I believe it's the first Black-owned clean beauty brand at Sephora. So I definitely wanted to highlight a Black-owned brand during Black History Month. Of course, you should highlight Black-owned brands throughout the year, but especially throughout Black History Month. And it's a very, I think, exciting launch. So it's a very kind of affordable price point. It's clean beauty. They have some interesting products. So as you can tell, I ordered this from LYS Beauty, and it came in a very interesting triangular shaped box. So their whole range is kind of triangle shaped. So I appreciate the commitment to the theme, even though it was a bit odd to get a triangle box in the mail, but I don't know if it's more expensive to ship that way or whatever. But anyway, so it opens up like so, and LYS stands for Love Yourself. So a lot of their shade names and everything are very kind of empowering. So I didn't get absolutely everything from the brand, but I think I got kind of the core products. So it looks like they have some tips on the back here, and if you do want to purchase from LYS Beauty directly, I think you can use the code THANKYOU15 for 15% off. So some products I didn't get. I didn't get their primer because the way it was described didn't sound like it would suit my dry skin. I did get the foundation, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I got the powder, the translucent setting powder, and then I got the bronzer, that's the blush, so this is a matte bronzer, and then I also got the cream blush, and I didn't get the lip oil because I didn't think there would be a lot to review there, basically. So a little bit about the brand. It says, at LYS, we're on a mission to empower, inspire, and awaken your most confident self through authentically clean skincare and beauty products. Each formula is carefully crafted with a skin-first approach to enhance, never conceal your best features. So they're cruelty-free, uber clean, vegan, it has non-conformity, so I'm not sure exactly what that means, accessibility, and plant-based ingredients. And I believe the name of the founder is Tisha Thompson. I believe she was at Pure Cosmetics prior to starting this brand. So let us talk about the products. So you see they have the triangle theme kind of continuing throughout. And you can see how they kind of designed the box so that everything kind of, you know, would fit in. I don't know if you ever did those plastic tiles or whatever they were called when you were at school, but that's kind of what this reminds me of. Okay, so let us talk about the foundation. Okay, so this is the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. This retails for $22, which I think is quite fair. This is a full fluid ounce. And it says an ultra luxe serum foundation that effortlessly conceals blemishes, dark spots, and imperfections with skincare benefits and buildable light to medium coverage. And it looks like there are 35 shades, if I'm correct. Okay, so a few more details here. It says it's loaded with nourishing ingredients like ashwagandha, hyaluronic acid, turmeric, and avocado oil. It leaves behind an undetectable veil that enhances your skin's natural beauty, making it suitable for everyday use. And it says they made it for normal, dry, and combination skin, so it doesn't explicitly say oily skin. I think their primer, though, is maybe geared towards oily skin, so maybe if you combine those two, it would work. It says it is undetectable, silicone-free, breathable, addresses skin concerns like dark spots, pores, fine lines, and imperfections. Yeah, 35 complementary shades and 3 universal undertones for a natural skin-like finish. Okay, so it does say shake well before use. Smooth a small amount onto clean, moisturized, and or primed skin with a sponge or foundation brush. And they do have brushes, by the way, that I didn't pick up just because I have enough brushes. Build as desired. For a barely there look, mix with your favorite moisturizer. Yeah, and then it says for oily skin or for a more matte finish, follow with Triple Fix translucent pressed setting powder. And I do have the setting powder. So ashwagandha, by the way, is Indian ginseng. It says it's a powerful herb to help combat skin stress and visible signs of aging. I think the last thing I wanted to mention is that I got the shade LN3, which is, I believe, the lightest neutral undertone shade. So it's LN3 Bone Blush. Very fair skin with neutral undertones. I kind of wish they hadn't given it a name and they just called it LN3, because Bone Blush for some reason just like, I don't know, sounds wrong to me. And they do have a foundation finder on their website where you can match by different foundations and other brands. So I always like that feature when you're trying to select a foundation online. So we'll see how good this match turned out to be. It is also gluten-free, vegan, cruelty-free. Looks like this little triangle wasn't quite punched out up there. So it's PETA approved, Leaping Bunny, has a 9-month shelf life apparently. I don't know what most foundations are. First ingredients are water, cocoa caprylate, glycerin, avocado oil are the first few ingredients. Okay, so I think that is it. And the actual bottle, oh no! Oh no. It looks like it leaked in the box. Well, hopefully the actual bottle isn't damaged. Okay, so it is a pump. This with a plastic rose gold lid. And I think it maybe just wasn't kind of screwed on tight enough. Looks like there's a little hair on the lid too. Do you guys see that right underneath the nozzle? So I'm not trying to, put this brand on blast. It is a brand new brand. Seems their manufacturing QC just maybe isn't quite what it could be. If anyone else got this shade, I'd be interested if you had any issues with it, if it was just like a one-off, or maybe when they were filling this particular shade, the machines weren't calibrated. I don't know if they do this by machine or if it's by hand. Well, I think that was a fairly minimal amount of product, and I think it really just was how tightly it was screwed on, because the actual packaging doesn't seem to be damaged. The hair is a little disturbing now. Perhaps, have better, I don't know if hygiene standards is the right word, like if there were people involved in putting this together, if they were hairnets. I don't know what the requirements are for cosmetics manufacturing. I'm having flashbacks to the Jaclyn Hill lipstick debacle. Okay, so I think I was able to clean it up. Okay, giving you guys the real look here. I don't know what the LYS return policy is. Not that I'm thinking of returning this. Like I said, it is available at Sephora now, which obviously has a pretty good return policy. So I have my skincare and SPF on and my under eye corrector, but that's it as far as makeup. And I'll zoom you guys in here. Okay, I think that's as far in as we go. So skin feels pretty hydrated. Hopefully this pump actually works. Okay, so that is what it looks like, fairly runny. Going down my hand, and I'm going to start doing half my face. And I guess I'll start off with a brush so you can kind of see the maximum, theoretically, amount of coverage, because a beauty blender does tend to sheer things out. And I have a little blemish there and one about there. And I am going out later today. I'm going to the post office and Costco. So I will be wearing a mask. And this is the BK Beauty 101 brush, by the way. Okay. So it is, again, February as I'm filming this, and you know, we're dealing with February skin. Okay, so what I'm seeing off the bat, so it looks pretty good on my forehead and my cheek. It's, I think, neutralizing some redness. It's not like fully covering up this blemish, which is fine. And it is looking a little flaky on my nose, like where I have some dryness, flakiness. So that is what it looks like with one coat with the brush versus nothing. So okay, so I think I'm gonna need a little bit more for the sponge side. And I probably will try to build it up a little bit. So using my Beauty Blender. They don't have a concealer yet, so I'll just use one of my concealers from a different brand. I think the shade match is okay. Again, this is the lightest neutral shade. There was one lighter, I think, that was golden undertones. So there's LG3 Golden, which they say is very fair skin with neutral undertones. I don't know if that's a typo. LG1, this is LN3, LG3, and then LP4 would be darker with pink undertones. I think it's okay. All right, so that is the sponge side. They look pretty similar to me, to be honest. So I'm just gonna go over some of the like redder areas of my face, I guess. I think with a lighter coverage foundation like this, it's a little harder to use it as a concealer. All right, so that is what we are dealing with. I'm not sure I love the way that it's looking on my nose, which I'm not sure how well you're gonna be able to see that, but. Okay, so that is the foundation. All right, so quickly going to do my brows just with the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 1. Okay, so I think I'm going to tell you about the powder so then I can do my concealer and set it. The powder is $18. And it says it's a finely milled pressed translucent setting powder that blurs the look of pores and locks makeup in place and absorbs excess oil for a natural matte finish. So I think I'm looking a little shiny on my forehead, so I might kind of set that, but I typically don't use a pressed powder for like all day wear, that sort of thing. So there are 4 shades, and I have the lightest shade, which is called Resilience. And then they have a yellow shade, and then a medium tan, and a dark Deep shade. So it says the ultra fine powder buffs beautifully into the skin, locking complexion products in place while diffusing the look of texture and pores. And this one is for all 4 skin types, I guess: normal, dry, combination, and oily. It says it is talc free and finely milled. It's an everyday powder. It says it settles into pores without accentuating texture or diminishing your skin's natural radiance. Whether you deal with dry, oily, or combination skin, this universal powder is enriched with skincare ingredients to promote a healthier looking complexion long after the makeup comes off. Formulated with niacinamide and green tea extract, this everyday powder elevates the performance of your favorite products, giving skin that just applied look we all crave without any white cast or flashback. So it recommends for oily skin, use the baking method for a mattifying effect. Gently buff into skin after foundation and concealer using a powder brush. It does have sodium hyaluronate. From what I understand, that can actually be drying to the skin if there isn't other moisture that it can pull in. Otherwise, it's pulling moisture out of your skin just the way that the molecule is, I guess. So we will see about that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to use this Kosas Revealer Concealer in the shade 1.5C, which I just featured in my full day wear test. Okay. I think this is a new shade from Kosas. And what I was saying about LYS putting out a foundation product, Kosas has a very light coverage foundation, but they have a more full coverage concealer to go with it. So I don't know if that will be kind of the approach that LYS takes if they come out with a concealer. So dab on some blemishes. All right, just going over that with a sponge. Just kind of make sure it's not too heavy or anything. Okay, so this is what the package for the powder looks like. Has the Resilience translucent shade on the corner here. Okay, so it says confidence without compromise on the inner lip here. And they have this shiny rose gold, which is attracting fingerprints. So that is what the package looks like. And it just has the shade on the back. This has a 24-month shelf life, and it looks like it was made in Taiwan. The foundation was made in Canada, if you're curious. So this is the package. It's very interesting. It has a mirror in the lid. I don't think there's anything to peel off though. And then the triangular pan, obviously, and then it is magnetic. So I'm glad they did that with this shape, because otherwise I think it would just be a nightmare to try and open and close if it was such a tiny like point here. Okay, so a fair bit comes off on the brush. It feels relatively smooth. I think it's just a normal kind of pressed powder. Can't really see much on my hand there. So I'm going to, I guess, powder my forehead. I don't want to powder my cheeks because there is a cream blush, but I think I could do my chin. So I might go over the cheeks with the pressed powder afterwards, depending on how it sets. And of course the lights and everything always make me look a little bit more luminous. So let's talk about the cheek product. So I got the shade Self Love. This is the Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. This is $16. There are 6 different shades. It says it's an everyday satin matte cream blush that delivers high payoff that caters to all skin tones and makeup looks, whether glam or natural. And it says it's the perfect complement to any makeup look, and these high pigment, ultra creamy blushes seamlessly blend onto the skin for a natural flush of color that will leave you wanting more. And this says it is for all skin types. They're supposed to be non-greasy, packed with kaolin clay, avocado oil, and vitamin E, leaving skin visibly refreshed long after the makeup comes off. It says dust, which I don't know how you dust a cream blush. Dust onto the apples of the cheek using a blush brush. Apply excess product onto the bridge of the nose, lips, and hairline for a youthful look. Okay, so it does have kaolin clay, which says it's supposed to reduce the appearance of pores and limit excess shine. The shade I got is described as a rosy mauve, or mauve. There is a soft peachy nude, which might be a lighter shade, and then the other four look to be darker, and they're a range of one's called fuchsia, one's called cinnamon spice, terracotta, and then a deep berry plum. So you have a range of options. So I typically apply cream blushes with my fingers. So that is what the product looks like. And just to show you, this has more of a like a matte texture to it. It's smooth, but it's not like the reflective type of packaging that the powder is, which I guess helps you differentiate, but I think I prefer this one because it doesn't show fingerprints. It still has the, I guess, the logo in the kind of fingerprint magnet type packaging. Maybe there is a small little tab. All right, so it looks like in the corner here, there is a little plastic tab that has a mirror protector on it. So it's a little hard to see because of the shape of the packaging, so just be aware of that. I'll show you, hopefully on this one. You see up in the corner there, there's a little plastic. So that is what I'm using, a pair of tweezers to try and grasp and pull off. So, okay. Good to know. All right, so what I like to do generally is just take kind of my middle finger and ring finger here, and feels quite creamy. So that is kind of what it looks like on the hand. Okay. So it is a usable mirror. If you were in a pinch, I mean, probably with the powder would be a little bit more like necessary if you were taking it on the go. I mean, it's not as good as like a normal mirror, but in a pinch, so because this was already kind of a light coverage foundation, it's a little hard to say whether it's disrupting the product underneath the foundation. So it's pretty. I don't know if it's anything kind of mind-blowing. I feel like there's been a lot of different cream blushes to come onto the market in the last year or so. Pretty subtle on me though. I wonder on a darker complexion how it would look. I think it is buildable. It's not like the kind of blush where you just tap it once and you kind of have to work to blend it out. Okay, so I think it's pretty, but it's not like a rush out and buy it type of product. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with the powder and just kind of go over my cheek area a little bit. If I weren't wearing a mask, I would probably skip this one to kind of keep the more luminous finish, and then also going over with a blush does tend to kind of diffuse the color, and I didn't think I was in need of that kind of diffusion. Okay, so the last product here is the bronzer. So this is the No Limits Matte Bronzer. It is $18 and comes in 5 different shades. I have the lightest shade, which is called Motivate. And it says it's an ultra buildable powder that effortlessly buffs onto the skin, adding a natural contour and warmth to the complexion without accentuating the skin's texture. Again, this is for all skin types. It says irresistibly velvety in texture. This easy to blend bronzer delivers a sun-kissed glow and stunning dimension that pulls your look together with a natural matte finish. Formulated with niacinamide, sodium hyaluronate, and green tea extract, this finely milled bronzer gives skin the warmth you want while blurring the look of imperfections and texture. Customize your look with your choice of 6 versatile shades that complement various skin tones for a subtle yet eye-catching effect. So they're saying to gently buff the product into the hollows of the cheek, temples of the forehead, and jawline using a brush. Again, same triangular shaped box. And this one seems to have the same packaging as the powder. So I don't understand why they would then use a different style of packaging, which honestly I prefer, when you're still gonna have to like figure out which is your bronzer and which is your powder, if that makes sense. Like, it seems like they should either have a third style of packaging or just make everything this like more, in my opinion, sleek and less like fingerprinty type packaging. So that is interesting that they did that. Again, same kind of story as the other two. This already looks like it's gonna be a bit warmer. So I'm gonna swatch 2 other bronzers in my collection, kind of my go-tos. So this is the Gucci Poudre de Beauté, that's how you say it, which is, I guess, a cooler tone bronzer. Definitely has more kind of pink in it. So that is the Gucci and that is the LYS. And then I'll also swatch the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer in the shade 2, which I think is more similar to the LYS. So that is Charlotte Tilbury, that is Gucci, and that is LYS. Just to give you some idea. Okay, so taking my Refer number 22 brush, same thing with the mirror. And while I'm looking at it, I'm not trying to ding on this brand, but if you can see the plastic, can you see that like discoloration there in the top? You know, it looks like there was kind of an error in the, again, the manufacturing process, like the mixing or something. This one doesn't seem to have it, the powder, and then the blush is slightly different packaging style or material. So just trying to note everything for you guys. Okay, so again, using my Refer brush, and okay, so it is kicking up some powder. And I typically kind of go in on my forehead, and I did want to powder it because often powders blend better over powders, like they don't get stuck on a dewy base. And then I usually go over kind of more my cheekbone area than the hollows of my cheek. And then I guess just for good measure, I'll take some underneath the jaw. I didn't contour or anything. All right, so that is all of the LYS products applied. So I'm going to finish off my makeup and I guess give you my initial impressions, and then I'll be back for a wear test and my final thoughts. Okay, so I've applied the rest of my makeup. Just in a nutshell, I used the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. I used the Pixie eyeliner in the shade Deep Plum. And then I used the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes mascara and the Pat McGrath lip gloss in the shade Secret Lover. So that is what I have on my face. Just to give you another close-up before I go out and wear a mask and all that jazz. So I will say my skin is already feeling a little uncomfortable, which again, it's February. It's kind of a constant battle to keep my skin nice and hydrated at this time. So take that as you will. And I do have dry skin all year round. But the time is now 1:37, so I think I should be able to get a good 8 to 9 hours of wear out of this. So I will check in with you guys soon. Hey guys, so it is 9:37, so it has been, I think, exactly 8 hours since I last checked in with you. So, as you may be able to guess, I am ready to take my makeup off and get ready for bed. So, as you can see, I'm looking a little bit shiny, which is always kind of a mystery to me, how you can be dry and have a foundation kind of exacerbate dry patches, but still look shiny. And granted, the studio lighting does tend to kind of exacerbate the shininess, but I don't know, it just comes through anyway. So I will zoom in for you. So I did reapply my lip gloss, but other than that, I haven't touched up. So that is what everything is looking like. And I thought I would go ahead and take the translucent powder and just do a little bit of touching up to see how that looks. So that is with some additional translucent setting powder applied, and it has been about 8 hours since I first applied the makeup. So I think that helps to kind of refresh things and make it not look so shiny. Okay, so what I'm seeing in my like smile lines here, I think you can see some creasing. And there's a dry patch down here. I'm trying not to like judge where I kind of touched up my blemishes with some concealer, but I don't think I touched up this little spot here. I don't know if that's going to pick up. And then my nose is also looking pretty kind of flaky. So let's show you the mask. So I did double mask. So this was the mask that was closest to my face. So not terrible transfer, I guess. And then I did have a cloth mask over that. And obviously the like paper mask was kind of in between my face and the cloth mask, but there was a little bit of transfer on the bottom bit, I think. So this was the part that went underneath my chin. And then I did want to show you, I took a photo of where my sunglasses were kind of resting on my cheeks while I was out. So I did kind of like pat that in, but I did want to show you that as well. And then you can see a little bit, hopefully, the wear on my sunglasses that transferred. And then also another thing, I brought my coat out here that I was wearing. So you can see some of the foundation transfer on my coat collar. So I'm fairly certain that was from today. Obviously I haven't washed this jacket after every single wear, but I really haven't been wearing foundation that much. So I'm fairly certain that was from today. So what do I think of this product line in general? I guess I'll give you some pros first. So I like the price point. I think everything besides the foundation is under $20, which is great, especially for a clean beauty brand that's sold at Sephora. I think this is like $22, so it's just a little bit over 20. I like the overall aesthetic and the packaging. You know, rose gold is pretty, I guess it's pretty trendy. It's not like my favorite metallic, but you know, I'm fine with it. I do wish they had gone with this kind of finish on their packaging instead of the bronzer and setting powder being this kind of fingerprinty type shiny packaging. I just don't understand why they chose to do two different styles. I mean, this is a cream product, but I don't know why that would make a huge difference. I like the magnetic closure, and I like that there's a mirror in there. I think it's a fairly usable mirror given the size of the compact and the shape. I think the shape is a little gimmicky, but I don't hate it. I think for storage purposes, there's still a flat edge that you can, you know, line them up in a little organizer or whatever you use. So it's not completely impractical. Okay, so moving on to some cons. Obviously the foundation had some problems with the quality control and the packaging. As far as the actual product inside, I guess it's not the worst foundation I've ever tried. It's not like wowing me in terms of a winter appropriate foundation for dry skin. It's like coverage, which in itself is not necessarily a con, it's just knowing what the product is promising. It does transfer, so I guess it's just hard, right? Like, so it's winter, my skin is dry, so I'm not dealing with an ideal base, and then I'm putting a mask on top of that. So expecting like a transfer-proof foundation that's forgiving to dry skin during winter is asking a lot, and I know that. But to both transfer and exacerbate dry patches, it's not really working out either way, if that makes sense. So I will probably give this another shot in the summer months. Hopefully by the end of the summer we won't be wearing masks. And you know, I won't have coats and that sort of thing up against my face, so maybe it'll work out better during that time. And I think, like I said, when I was applying it, it's maybe a little bit warmer than my skin tone is, even though this is the lightest neutral shade. So maybe if I have a little bit more color in my skin during the summer, it'll work out just a little bit better. So that is the foundation. The powder I thought was fine. Which one is the powder? So the powder I thought was fine. I don't have any kind of major pros or cons with this product. I did apply it all over and underneath my eyes. Okay, so my lights just did something weird, so I apologize if it changed at all. But yeah, I think this powder was fine. I just don't know if it's a like run out and buy it sort of situation. I mean, it feels fairly dry to the touch. I think it's just like a normal pressed powder, so again, I just think this is fine, really. So for the bronzer, I actually think this is maybe just a tad too warm for my personal preference in my skin tone. Again, as far as like blendability and texture, I think it's fine. It's just I think maybe just a tad bit warmer than I prefer at this time during the year for my skin tone. So like I said, the Gucci bronzer is a lot cooler, and let's see if I can show you these side by side. I did swatch them earlier for you. They don't open flat, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. So hopefully you can see kind of the difference in tone there between the cooler Gucci bronzer and the LYS bronzer. That's a little bit warmer. So again, that might just be a personal preference thing. Obviously, this is a lot more affordable than the Gucci bronzer, and for that matter, more affordable than the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, which I think is kind of more similar to this in tone. And the last product here is the blush. And I like a cream blush. I just feel like for a product that's kind of marketing itself as being a high pigment blush, this didn't actually have a lot of like pigment. Like, I just didn't think the color payoff was that impressive, given kind of the depth of the color. Again, I thought it was nice. I didn't have any like major objections to it. I just don't know if this is better than some similarly priced cream blushes on the market. So if you really want to support a clean, Black-owned business at Sephora, I'd say there are products here that will work and maybe worth your time and money in looking into. They're not like blowing me away. So again, I don't think this is like a you need this in your life immediately kind of situation. It's more a, if you're comparing two similar products in terms of quality, maybe you would go for this based on kind of the company behind it, if that makes sense. So I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping that I would be able to come on here and just completely rave about everything that I tried. Again, my intent is not to bash a company in any way. It's just to present to you my experience with these products and to provide as honest a review as I can. Again, I did purchase all of these products with my own money directly from the LYS website. So this isn't PR, this isn't sponsored, anything like that. So I just want to share with you my experience. So I hope you guys found that helpful. If you did, please do subscribe. So I upload hauls and reviews and unboxings of various subscription boxes, that sort of thing. So if you do enjoy this type of content, please do subscribe. And I hope you guys are all staying very safe and healthy, and I will speak to you very soon.